This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about at BYU-Idaho. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. Today's hosts are
Abigail Barber,
Larsen,
Terri Hess,
and Maiya Waddell. Today we're talking all about dance. All right, so we are recording in the MC today, and I'm so excited because we get to learn all about dance. Right, Abby?
Yep.
Yay! So what's first on our list?
I believe we have some spot takes.
Ooh, yeah. So a spot take, for those that don't know, is pretty much a hot take on a certain topic. So my spot take is, I'll start. My spot take is dance competitions often prioritize technical perfection over genuine emotional expression, which can strip performances of their heart and soul. Sometimes the rawest, most impactful dances are the ones that don't hit every technical mark but tell a powerful story. What do you guys think?
I'm interested to hear your thoughts about this because you judge some of the competitions.
That is a really good question. So I judge more than just ballrooms. I do judge other kinds of competition too. And often there is on the score sheet the emotional, the performance, the expression, and you do get scored for that. I think if you have that component, it also draws you in, and you kind of bond with the piece, and so you would tend to give that a higher score. It's great if the technical score and that score are, high. Sometimes, like you said, they focus more on the technical, and you have to. It's a dance competition, and that's what you're there for. But if you can get that expression and emotion into the piece, it solidifies it. It's just makes it more enjoyable. It draws the audience in. It draws the performers in.
Thank you so much. How about you?
I think dance competitions have a narrowing effect in terms of style and standardization. I did a lot of research on this for both my master's and my PhD, had a component on competition. And it's interesting to see that it's everywhere and in all styles of dance, that when it's competitive, it is more focused on the technical because it's easier to judge that, I think.
Yeah.
It's harder to judge emotion because we each receive it in a different way and connect to it in different ways. So the technical seems to be the easier way to judge and compare things. So it's just a natural side effect of competition, I think.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I never knew that there's so much more that goes into it than just simply looking at a dance and then judging what you see.
One other thing, it's hard to teach the expression.
Absolutely.
You can teach them steps, you can teach them the techniques, but they have to feel it themselves.
And some students just have it or they don't,
Yeah.
right? And it's hard to teach expression.
Yeah.
Like some people are just naturally expressive, and I think that's a difference in characteristics that we all have and share. So it is hard to teach expression.
Yeah, I actually learned expression from my choir teacher. So a lot of people have told me that they really like my expression, especially just random students at dances. And I learned that from my choir teacher because we have to stand very still in choir and you can't move a lot normally. And so he would tell us to tell the story and transport the audience to this world that you're creating with your storytelling. And dance is a form of storytelling, I think, and I'm able to take those little microscopic sphere of what I'm able to do, and then I'm able to transpose that into my dancing. And it kind of brings the dancing to life for me, so it's a lot more fun when I do it like that, when I get into it, when I tell a story with it, and when I feel the emotions and when I explore that, when I just kind of transport myself, but then also the people I dance with, sometimes the people who are watching, to this world that I'm creating with my dancing. But it doesn't happen all the time. That's what I aim for when I'm focusing on expression. It's so fun.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm not really a dancer, but in the past I used to do ballet. And so when I was younger, it was always make sure your form is right, make sure that you are very, expressive in your dancing. And so it's true that the expression really can change the dance. So thank you. What is your spot take?
Spot takes. I think, well, this might be a spot take, but I think a lot of people would like dance if they found the right style. I know that not everybody enjoys dancing, but I know a lot of people who didn't think they'd like dancing who tried it just because their friends were doing it, and then they fell in love with it because they found the right kind of dance. And with ballroom, which is what I love to do, and I like to do world too, but I like ballroom a lot more than any of the other styles that I've done. And there are so many different things within ballroom, like there's samba and there's tango and Viennese waltz and all these different feelings with all these different dances, and like all these different ways to feel and express and experience all these different things and different kinds of music that go with it and different kinds of movement. And I think there's something for everyone in that. Even if it's not ballroom, like there's some kind of movement. I think dance is just amazing because it's a form of exercise. You can socialize, you can connect with people, you can be creative. And you can do those things in a world where we're constantly on our devices and like we're looking down and we're not connecting with people, we're not expressing ourselves. We have AI to be creative for us, and we don't get to explore these aspects of being human as much. And I think dance opens that up in a lot of ways for people, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Do you guys have any hot takes about dance that you'd like to share?
Terri?
Well, a common topic that is often discussed in the dance area is it an art or is it a sport?
Both.
And yeah, that's the conclusion I've come to is it is even more than art and sport. It's social. You think of social dance, and some people think that is the same as ballroom, which really I think ballroom is a competitive thing. I kind of automatically go to ballet and Swan Lake or something, and then creative, I think modern, and then entertainment, I go straight to tap, and all of those can be a little bit of everything, but that's my spot take is art versus sport.
Yeah.
Something that I've dealt with my whole career is the notion that dancing is for women.
Oh, yeah.
There is a perception in our Western culture that says if you're a dancer, then you're either a female or you have feminine qualities and traits. And so early on, I've battled against that, thinking, I can prove that you can be masculine and still dance, and hopefully I've done a little bit of that. But it's interesting how certain things have just led our culture to believe that. When dance was really formalized in the courts of the King Louis XIV, it was only for men to do. Just like Shakespearean plays were all men. It was these certain traits that kind of flipped in our culture. It's interesting.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
That's really cool.
I'm curious. So, are we all trained in different dance experiences and things like that?
So when I was in primary, so like 5 to 11, I did ballet. I started doing tap along the way, and I did some musical theater, and then I just stopped when I was 11. I didn't do any dance stuff really until, again after that, until I was 18 and I came up here for the first time, and I loved going to dances, and I knew that I liked dancing, but I was thinking it's just a fun thing, like I'm just doing this for fun occasionally. And then I got into ballroom because I went to the school's ballroom nights, and I got to do all these styles, and it was really fun, and I could wear whatever I wanted, and I didn't have to be perfect in order to have fun with it, and in order to feel like I was doing a good enough job, and that was really great.
Yeah.
I think for me. So I just fell in love with that, so I just mostly do ballroom.
That's so cool.
I think to answer your question, it's something you said earlier, and that's the connection, right? Dance is about connection. So when you're wanting to connect with other people, then it tends to lead you more towards the social dances or recreational dances. Sometimes you're connected to rhythm. And for me, that was one of my connections that ties me to my percussive dance roots, tap and clogging and that kind of thing. And other times, I love to connect to culture or to history, and you can use dance to get to those places too. Yeah. Sometimes it's a connection even within yourself or within, a spiritual higher plane where you're dancing more in a praise or a way to connect to something deeper in your soul.
Yeah, I mean, like within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we believe that one of the reasons why we came to life was to get a body, and with dance you're able to learn how to use your body. In a lot of our classes we focus more on like stuff that's really it's all like in your head, that you're able to think of the concepts, you're able to say what they are, but with dance you're able to do so much more physical, like practical application.
In conjunction with the spirit.
Yeah.
It's really the blending of the body and the spirit together, which we understand as the soul. And I feel when I'm dancing that those two things are in perfect harmony.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is one reason we love to dance.
Yes.
And share it.
Yeah.
And teach it.
Yeah. What are some of your dance experiences?
Well, we were talking about the spiritual side, so I'll share a spiritual side. I had the opportunity to, I don't want to cry, to work with the youth in a temple celebration when we rededicated the Idaho Falls Temple. And that was so cool. At first, when we started teaching the youth, they're rowdy, and the boys are sitting in the foyer, and
they don't want to participate.
Yes.
Laws are making.
Yes, and it started like that, and I'm like, this is not spiritual. But by the end, everybody learned their parts, and it was amazing. It was so cool. It was down in Pocatello in the Holder Arena. Yeah, is that what it's called? And we packed it. It was full, and it was hot. They don't have air conditioning, and it was hot, but it was still so spiritual, and the kids all felt it, and it was just amazing. So.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't bring tissues.
I'm good.
I've had so many experiences in my growing up, some that are, about performance or about finding things out about myself that I didn't know through dancing. And just like Terri was saying, it allows you to access feelings and emotions that you didn't even know you had, because again, that conjunction of body and spirit together is really special. I think it's one of the things we're meant to learn and figure out here. I have hundreds of similar experiences where I've felt so strongly or been able to sort of see myself from an eternal perspective in those moments.
That's beautiful.
How about you, Abby?
More of my experiences. So I don't perform a lot. I got to perform in the dance showcase earlier this semester, and that was my only performing experience here. So, but I'm choreographing a piece for my dance students because I'm teaching a class, and we're supposed to choreograph a piece. And so I don't have a lot of experience performing, especially the style that I'm teaching, because when I performed, I didn't do any ballroom really. But I'm choreographing this ballroom piece, and I don't know, it makes me really happy with the creative process, because I'm by myself, like I don't have any assistants in my class, so I have to teach everything, like get stuff from my head like to everybody else, and I have to teach people how to do it well enough that we can demonstrate it and then like help people out. But it's been really beautiful to see that growing and adapting, and it's been really fun from a creative perspective to take a song that I think is really cool, cut it, mix it, and create this thing for my students, and they seem to really like it so far. So I'm really excited to see that unfold.
Yeah.
It's a new experience, but it's going to be great.
Thank you. Yeah, that sounds amazing. And I assume that, were you nervous the first time? Is ballroom your side, like that's what you're comfortable in, or?
Ballroom is my favorite. I like doing other stuff sometimes. If I'm not doing ballroom, I lean more towards world dance. There's some connections, like there's some overlap, I think, a little bit. And then historical dance too. I really like cakewalk, which is really fun. So I lean more towards like ballroom, world, and historical dances. So I'm more comfortable with those. I can do musical theater because when I was in choir, I did school plays, and my choir teacher was a drama teacher, which is why he was so good at teaching expression, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was so fun, just exploring that. But yeah, I have experience with musical theater, so I'm more comfortable with musical theater because that's what I did more of when I was in high school. If anything, we didn't do a lot of choreography, but if we did anything, it was that. And we didn't really get, like, we didn't have normal choreographers. We had high school students choreographing stuff, which was really fun normally, and that was a great opportunity for them, I think.
Yeah.
And they did so good. But yeah, I think it's really fun. I think anyone can do it. It's not going to be pretty at first necessarily, but I think it's really fun. So.
Yeah. And I guess, do you guys ever get nervous when you choreograph a piece and you hope, like, oh, I hope it goes well, like, is it going to translate well?
Every time.
Every time?
Yeah, I kind of think of choreography as a little bit like writing a book, and sometimes you get writer's block, and you're like, it looks so good until this one piece, right? Like this little middle section, and yeah, sometimes you have to try a few things before it's the way you want it. But, and you know what? Not all of your choreography is perfect. So
None of them are perfect.
yeah,
But there just comes a point where you just got to put it on stage or be done with it and go, oh well, I've done what I can.
yeah.
But yeah, the nerves are there every time because you want to do your best. You want to be, a conduit for truth and light and beauty. But sometimes the ideas just don't come, or it just falls flat. Sometimes you have this idea and it looks great in your mind, and you put it on dancers and you go, didn't work as I thought. So that is some pressure. But again, like writing a book or any creative project, it's about working and then reworking and editing and trying different things until you finally get to where you're satisfied.
Yeah.
If you have time.
Actually, it's something I've noticed that helps me with choreographing my piece, because it's only a minute and a half, so it's not too much choreography, and it is a waltz, so super, super slow, not very many beats, so super easy to choreograph. But something that helped me with it was having experienced social dancing, where I have to come up with moves on the spot as a lead, because when you lead, you have to guide the follow-through steps. You have to decide what you're doing beforehand. So what I do when I'm doing that is I'm kind of creating my own choreography, because I love being expressive and I love having fun with the music. So if I'm really familiar with the song, I'll do like silly things to go along with the song, or I'll like find certain beats in the song where this move would look good here, or this would feel good here. We're gonna do this because it's gonna feel really cool, and then my dance partner's gonna feel so cool doing it. And or my dance partner likes this step, so I'm gonna do this. And I'm able to come up with these steps on the spot because I have to. And so when I was choreographing my routine, I approached it kind of like listening to the music. How would I dance to this socially? Like, what would feel good here? What would look good here? And what would everybody like to dance to in the situation? So that's what I did, and it was pretty easy to choreograph from that perspective because I was just feeling it out.
Again, you're not putting the pressure on yourself, but you're allowing yourself to have fun with it and explore, and that makes it easier.
Definitely. I'm sure if I had more pressure and if it was a specific song that I wasn't feeling, that would be so much harder.
It's hard to assign a song, like do something to this, and you're like, oh. Because it doesn't always inspire you.
I don't like the song. Can I change the song?
I got to choose it, so it's so much easier.
Yeah, it is so much easier.
in high school, I was in a dance class, and we often had to, high school students would choreograph the dances. And so we would get to pick our own song, thankfully. So we'd all get into groups, and then we'd all be like, what do we want to do for this song? What can we do to make it better than the other groups? Because we'd compete against each other. So that was always really fun, one of my favorite memories.
That's so cute.
Yeah. I'll just share my dance experience real quick. I did ballet growing up, and then I stopped after a while. I would just go do it at my local church. And then now I just do Just Dance all the time, which is kind of not really what people think about when they think of dance, but I love Just Dance. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. So that's kind of my background in dance, and I did it in high school a little bit as well. I think my favorite would be hip hop. I love getting my heart rate up when I'm dancing, so yeah. I would love to know you guys' favorite kinds of dancing.
That's a tough one.
Yes, sometimes it's by the day or your mood. Or, yeah, or what you're working on.
When I'm tap dancing, I love tap dancing.
Yeah.
And then when I'm doing a world piece, I just love that so much. So often it's just whatever I'm doing is what I love.
Yeah.
And there's things that I default to in certain situations, like if like I'm in an elevator and there's some music there, I'll start tapping a little bit because that's just what comes out. Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't start West African dancing in an elevator. You're gonna hurt somebody or yourself.
So yeah, I'll do.
So it depends on the context and your mood, as Terri said. Sometimes you're in a mood more for a waltz, something just like kind of melancholy and sweet. And sometimes you need a jive and like bounce, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you an experience. I was never real keen on hip hop.
Yeah,
It's
really?
fine. Well, they didn't do much of it when I was younger. It was kind of a newer thing. Anyway, I was coaching a team, a high school team, and they were interested in doing hip hop, and so I said, yeah, let's do it. And I had a choreographer come in because I'm not a hip hopper. And you know what? I loved it. And like I said, I'm not really, but I knew enough about it that I could coach it once it was and clean it. And I was really getting into it, and I loved it, and we competed it, and it was really fun. So I think you can kind of be converted to different kinds of dance.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think along that line, I think it takes the right kind of experiences with it, like experiences that that help you understand the dance. Like for me, I don't think I would have gotten into ballroom if I got into it in a class setting. And like kind of like how you didn't get into hip hop until the right person came along and was like, okay, this is what it is, and this is fun. And I think it's all like that with dance. Like if you don't understand one of the styles, you haven't experienced enough of it, yeah.
Yeah. So with that, what kinds of classes are offered here at BYU-Idaho in terms of dance?
Well,
You probably know more than both of us.
so, lot. We have one of the largest and diverse dance programs in the nation, and there's only a couple that are larger than us, maybe two. So at little BYU-Idaho, we have an enormous dance program in terms of the breadth and what we offer. So on the ballroom side, we have like Latin, standard, international American styles, and that's a lot.
And social.
And social, yeah, all of that including. And then we have, jazz, tap, and ballet, which are kind of like the standard studio sort of dances. And then we have modern dance, which some people would call contemporary dance based on your use of that word. And we have world dance, clogging, and tap. And
Which you teach?
hip hop, which I teach, right? We periodically hold a hip hop class when we have a qualified teacher, but we don't really have a full-time teacher that does that. So every once in a while we'll have a teacher that'll come along that could do it, and well, and appropriately, right? Because hip hop can get into inappropriate places pretty quick and easy. The music does as well, and so we've been very selective with those. And then in terms of the people taking classes here, the amount of classes we have, I think it's like 8,000 a year take dance classes on this campus, and that's not repeating people. That's students, 8,000 students a year. Which when I tell my colleagues at other universities that, they're just like, what? That's astounding number of people that take classes, and I think it's like almost 50% of the people that graduate have had a dance class, which is pretty impressive, and it's mostly due to social dance.
Yeah.
Because it's a great place to go and interact and learn some skill and have a good time.
Yeah, we have normally 10 plus classes, like sections of social dance every semester. So I actually got a lot of TAing experience because of that, because a couple of semesters in a row I TA'd for 4 sections. Typically I did like 2 back-to-back, and then I did that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, typically around the same times. So that was a lot of TAing.
But what a great experience.
Yeah, and you're touching on
training.
We not only get trained how to dance, but how to teach and how to run a dance. Yeah.
We have a program for that. So I'm not a dance major, obviously. Not obviously, but no, a lot of people think I'm a dance major.
You dance a lot.
I dance a lot, yeah. So, and in a social way too. So, so people can see that I work hard on it. But yeah, so I'm not a dance major, but we do have a teaching program where you can learn to teach. You can actually get a job teaching. So there's a program for that if you want to look into it.
One of the things I love about BYU-Idaho is we give students real-world experience in teaching. And so when they graduate, whether they're a major or not, they've had experience teaching and they can go out and teach.
It's great for your resume.
It is great for your resume.
We have a performing group.
We have performing companies, which do a variety of styles. And we try not to just limit it, but it depends on who our choreographers are, obviously, and the focus.
And our performing group tours, some of them tour, and that's been a good experience for a lot of students and faculty.
You get to see what that kind of professional life is like, get a week of that experience.
So I guess what's the difference between dances on campus and dances off campus?
Like social dances on and off campus, like student activities.
So for one thing, music.
Definitely.
On campus, we can control, only have appropriate songs without the language and the, all the things.
No naughty lyrics.
I think we try to dance more appropriately being on campus, just the setting. I think any kind of art form can be godly, but everything has its opposite, and it can go the other way too. And I think just being on campus, we strive to be more godly in our daily lives, and that includes the dance scene. And you don't always see that if you're at the salsa bar or whatever.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't go dancing off campus very often, but I've heard a lot about it. And when I do go off campus, I go to Idaho Falls because once a month they have a live band play, and then you can do swing dancing. So it's really fun. It's a tiny space, but yeah, you get a lot of people who are middle-aged, older. So having university students, we're on the younger side. But it's more wholesome, I think, there too. So you don't have to be on campus to have a good dance experience or have wholesome music, and it's mostly instrumental stuff, like hardly any singing. And then when there is singing, it's pretty clean. So just depends on I think it depends on where you go and understanding that and just feeling it out.
And what style?
Yeah.
Like sometimes country can be really anodyne and sterile, or sometimes it can get pretty racy.
Yeah.
But there's like blues dancing that is always suggestive and always a little oof. I had some students invite me to go blues dancing, and I was like, well, what is it like? I've never seen it. And they showed it to me, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. Because of the covenants I've made.
That's funny.
Because it just made me feel uncomfortable, because there was a lot of touching, very close proximity, and moving in ways that I don't feel are really appropriate.
Maybe with Sister Larsen.
Yeah, oh yeah, that would be fun.
So what are the benefits of dance?
So it's a form of exercise. Yeah, we don't get a lot of good physical activity normally, or it's just really boring. Personally, I find going to the gym really boring. So dancing is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
For exercise. It's social if you let it. If you make it that way. You can try to avoid interacting with people, but it's really hard.
Styles, you can.
You can
tap dance all alone.
Yeah. But then you get feedback from your teacher.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so you really have to interact with people with dancing, and it's creative. A lot of the time you do end up experimenting with it. You listen to music. It's one of the things I like the most about dancing is how creative and expressive it is, and I think it helps with my mental health. Like, I've noticed it helps, and it can boost my mood even if I'm feeling really down. So, yeah, lots of benefits.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
It fulfills different things for different people. Like for you said, mental health, and I see that benefit for many of my students. I see the physical part for many of my students. I see the social part for many of my students. And it's all of those in whatever degree you need. I think it helps fulfill a lot of needs in life, and I would love to see more people dancing, because I think it would greatly benefit our society just to have that athletic, creative, social outlet.
Right. Thank you so much.
Any other thoughts to add?
You guys pretty well covered that. I'm interested in the therapeutic, like the mental illness, and it's just a good outlet, a good
field, that dance therapy, using dance as mental and emotional therapy. You can now get a master's degree in that.
Yes.
You can practice in hospitals, and I've had a few friends who've gone in that direction. And there's a lot more we can go in that way, I think so too.
Yeah, I think even just sometimes just tapping your toe to a song, it releases some. Yeah.
Real quick, I'm going to read the poll that we asked our listeners, which was, if you could learn any dance, what would it be? And so 8 votes were 35% said salsa, 17% said hip hop, 22% said ballet, and 26% said breakdancing. So thank you to those who answered the poll. Next up, we are excited to talk about Temples in Bloom. We actually have a few guests here, so we're going to talk with them about it. So let's dive right in. Perfect. Welcome everybody to the Temples in Bloom interview. I'm so happy to have Megan and Gaby with us today. So just to start out, Megan, what is Temples in Bloom?
Temples in Bloom is a unique event that the Advanced Wedding and Event Planning is putting on this year. It's a floral interpretation of temples around the world. So there's going to be multiple temples spotlighted in different countries like Guatemala, Rome, Italy, Japan, and even in the United States, like Salt Lake City Temple. And then there's also going to be a room talking about eternal family. So we really want to talk about the temples, but also the importance of temples and what they bring to us.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds so exciting. And what makes it unique?
We've never done an event like this, but especially the floral part. There's going to be multiple student interpretations too of floral pieces about Jesus Christ. Yeah. So there'll be paintings of Jesus Christ and floral interpretations of those pieces, along with the floral interpretations of all of the countries and the temples. And those will intake flowers and colors that also are represented in those countries.
Yeah. I heard there's going to be food that's kind of mixed with the culture that you're focusing on, as well as photo opportunities. Is that right?
Yeah, there will be both. And there will be a list of the ingredients and things like that for allergies.
So cool. And Gaby, how did the idea for Temples in Bloom come up?
Yeah, I love that question. I served my mission in Eastern Europe, and out there, the temples, they're not close to all the members, and so they travel long distances to get to the temple. So I really wanted to highlight the temples around the world, because oftentimes we think about temples here in the States and that we have one literally 2 minutes away from us on campus. So I really wanted to highlight just how the struggle of getting to the temple for some members out there, and just how important we should take advantage of our temple here. Not only that, there's so many cultures represented on this campus, so I just thought it'd be cool to highlight those with some significant temples around the world.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm sure everyone's going to love this event that's coming up. And what should students know about Temples in Bloom?
You should know that it's an amazing faith-filled night. It's going to be so fun. We have food from different cultures around the world. We have flowers from different cultures around the world. It's a great night. There's also going to be a family history room where you can come and work on some family history, and just fun activities. Bring your kids, bring your significant others, your friends. It's a good night for all.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to talk about it. I'm so excited for this event.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That wraps up our interview with Megan and Gaby. Thank you for tuning in. Now, before you go, here are some exciting events happening around campus that you won't want to miss. Tonight is Cosmic Cycling that is happening from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Hart Building, room 188, the Spin Room. The event will be a revolutionizing indoor cycling event with powerful music, black lights, and a party atmosphere. Please wear your own modest fluorescent attire. Tonight as well, the Planetarium is hosting an event called Planetarium Presentations Stars of the Pharaohs. It will be from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Romney Building, room 107. And on Friday, there's a CPR First Aid certification course that will be held from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Manwaring Center, rooms 368 to 369, which are the meeting rooms. For more events, visit the I Belong website for an extensive list of fun weekly activities. That's it for our spotlight. All right, everybody, you've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were
Abigail Barber,
Gary Larsen.
Terri Hess.
and Maiya Waddell. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. Producers were the hosts with supervision by Brandon Isle and Natalia Hepworth. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads, The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music, and High by LIFO. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media or visit our website, byui.edu/radio, and click podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to The Spot podcast wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.